There's a story called The Foxy Sister. Interesting title. It's about a girl named Hu Xiaolan. She's 30 this year and very beautiful. She has fair skin, a melon seed face, a pair of big eyes, and long, curvy eyelashes. She's simply stunning. She's had a lot of luck with men. Over the years, she's had about 8 boyfriends. But none of them stayed for long. The girl herself was quite puzzled and depressed. You see, she's kind and treats people well. She hoped to find a good husband who was willing to grow old and build a family with her. With her parents constantly nagging at her, she was frustrated too. That's why she longed for a good husband. However, the reality was just the opposite. Every relationship she's had has only lasted a year and a half. These guys tended to have their own reasons to break up with her. Some of the reasons were really absurd. Like, my mom introduced me to someone better. Or, the fortune teller says no. Yes, all kinds of reasons. The girl herself has her own problem. She could be attracted to a guy with good looks, good personality, and good income at first, but be disgusted by the same guy 2 months later. Her boyfriend's small mistakes could damage her emotionally, making her unable to calm down for a long time. Then, she started to reject men who approached her. And people were too scared to approach her. As if she were under a curse. That's why she kept failing in relationships. She'd get dumped if she wasn't the one dumping people. According to her, one of her boyfriends said that there were a few times in places with poor lighting when he saw her looking somewhat like a demon. They weren't fighting, but that guy just got scared all of a sudden. The guy even said that he would occasionally smell a strange scent on her. The guy had had girlfriends before, and he said it was a peculiar scent that other women didn't have. It smelled unpleasant. She quickly hated that guy. Also, her last boyfriend, a chubby guy, lost more than 10 kilograms after dating her for 3 months. A chubby guy became a stick man all of a sudden. And he looked particularly unwell too. The guy's mother was particularly worried. The doctor said there was nothing wrong. His mother felt something was off and sought a spiritual medium. Upon seeing the young man, the medium immediately said he was surrounded by an evil aura and asked if he'd been around some strange people. After some chit-chatting, the guy showed the medium a photo of Xiaolan. The medium, after looking at the photo, asked him to leave Xiaolan immediately. She was the source of the evil aura. And that was the end of Xiaolan's latest relationship. Failing in 8 relationships is tough. Anyone would have a hard time. She really wanted to know why. Her last boyfriend's mom told her that she was possessed by evil. She felt like a demon from Journey to the West. She didn't know what to do, and she was sad too. But she also secretly wondered if she herself was the problem. In fact, over the years, she often had a strange dream. She often saw a fox in her dreams. The fox would talk to her and have fun with her in different places. The fox treated her well, like a long-lost relative. Once, she was taken to a particularly dark forest. That beautiful natural scenery, coupled with the fox's meticulous care for her, actually made her feel puzzled and surprised in her dream. When she looked at the fox knew right away what she wanted. The fox told Xiaolan that it was actually Xiaolan's sister. They looked alike, almost identical, as they were sisters in their previous lifetimes. That's why the fox liked Xiaolan so much. Thinking about this, Xiaolan couldn't help but shiver. Was she possessed by the fox? After that, I decided to help her out. After finding out her family background, I truly believed that she was somewhat connected to that fox spirit. Actually, it was not a fox, but a spirit worshipped by her ancestors long ago. Let's just call it a home-protecting spirit. What's the spirit that her family worshipped? A fox spirit. The spirit took a liking to Xiaolan's pre-incarnation. And in this lifetime, it's been following Xiaolan everywhere. Since young, I've come into contact with people who were sick due to possession. Most of them were possessed by spirits of animals. There are different spirits in different regions. In the northeastern part of China, the most common 5 spirits are the fox, the mouse, the snake, the weasel, and the hedgehog. Then, in some other regions, there are the wolves, the bears, and the tigers. And then there are the ghosts. Animals with some spiritual practices could possess humans. And then the possessed human would show these animals' characteristics. It could be appearance or habitual traits. Take the fox, for example. It's a beautiful small animal among others, isn't it? What would a fox-possessed lady show? Body language, gaze, etc. Xiaolan has beautiful eyes and the scent of a fox, right? Especially, she may be several times more attractive for the opposite sex compared to an average woman. Being possessed by a spirit, the host gains the behaviors and cunning tricks of the spirits. So, through her body language, Xiaolan was, at first, able to conquer men who lacked self-control, who felt they'd met their true love and must marry her. That's how it was. She is a walking man magnet. She'll be aggressive and seductive. Apart from her foxy gaze, one of the guys also mentioned a peculiar scent. We seldom study the scents of people whom we hang around with. Those who have been possessed by an animal spirit usually smells unpleasant, like an animal. They need some time to get used to that beastly odor. Under certain circumstances and atmospheres, men can get used to or even grow fond of it. It's like Malaysian durians. They're smelly if you've never before come across them. After tasting them 3 times, you'll be hooked forever. The scent of a fox spirit is the same. A low-level fox spirit scent is obvious after a strong drink. The scent it emits is very unpleasant. If you're dating someone with a strong scent, then you should think about it. But don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that if your partner doesn't smell good, then they must have been possessed by a low-level fox spirit. Health issues such as cancer or diabetes can also make you smell bad. This has nothing to do with fox spirits or demons. It's hard to tell what makes you smell bad. That's the low-level spirits. What about a well-cultivated fox spirit? Any spirit that is well-cultivated makes its host smell good. It's a smell that makes you fall in love. Ordinary people don't smell as such, and no perfume could make you smell as such. So, one way to distinguish the level of an animal spirit is how beastly its possessed host smells. But you must also be careful when your partner smells too good. Smell alone cannot determine whether someone is possessed by an animal spirit or not. Other animal spirits also have their characteristic scents. However, one thing is certain: all well-cultivated spirits smell good. Among the orthodox major religions, such as Buddhism, Taoism, and even Christianity, there are also well-cultivated practitioners who carry a wonderful fragrance on them. Is it similar to the one emitted by a high-level spirit? No, because they practice and cultivate differently. Never compare the practices of an animal spirit and a Buddha Dharma practitioner. The former is too shallow compared to the latter, based on historical records and from what I know. Fox spirits usually don't possess their hosts to harm others. Possession is a part of their practices. Fox spirits speak through their hosts and help humans alleviate some of their suffering or assist in resolving certain issues. In this way, they perform good deeds, enhancing their abilities and magical powers. This is how they cultivate new heights, magical powers, and immortality. It's not like what most people say, that they possess female hosts just to seduce men. They do it for their practices. Then why do they seduce men using their female hosts? It's to absorb the essence and life energy of men. According to the ancient philosophy of yin and yang, men possess yang energy, or life energy. The life energy of men is stronger than that of women. Women's life energy, compared to that of men, is more gentle, and it lasts longer too. Women live longer than men. So, these two types of energy have their own strengths. Generally speaking, people usually associate fox spirits with women. What do they know about female fox spirits? They suck men dry. This is the general perception. In reality, there are both male and female fox spirits. A spirit-possessed man can be attractive to women too, you know. Yes, men can be hosts of fox spirits too. Yes, female fox spirits are more common. And they seduce men to absorb their life energy. A female host could also be possessed by a male fox spirit. It's the energy they want, not the person they seduce. That's how it is. Alright, Here's a somewhat inappropriate analogy. After opening and emptying a box of juice, do we keep the empty box? Usually, we just throw it aside. If we're thirsty again, we just buy another box. Now, back to Xiaolan. In the past 10 years, she's been dumped by 8 guys. Some were scared off, right? She also dumped some of them due to her own feelings. It's not wrong if this was done with rationality. The fox spirit doesn't always possess Xiaolan. Sometimes, they were separated. That's how it was. So, when Xiaolan was left to herself, she could treat a guy well and hope to build a family with him. But what if she suddenly detested a guy so much? She was in her possessed state. It's the spirit telling her, it's time to dump a man who's been sucked dry. The spirit would tell her how bad they were, and refresh her memory of the mistakes they'd made. This was done to make Xiaolan hate them and then dump them. No use keeping a man who's been sucked dry. That's the idea. Xiaolan herself had no idea what she was doing. She's not a fox spirit, but a host who gets possessed occasionally by a fox spirit her ancestors used to worship. The spirit did all kinds of things with her body, so she and the fox spirit had this kind of connection. In short, it was a possession, with the spirit unable to gain full control of her mind. Humans who are bewitched by the fox spirit come from all walks of life, from beggars and farmers fleeing famine, to doctors, scholars, intellectuals, minor officials, and even emperors. It's easier for the spirits when an emperor often harbors deviant thoughts rather than focusing on his duties. This is when they're most vulnerable to spirits. When emperor's energy is too strong, the spirits can't possess them, but they can still approach the emperors to accomplish their evil plot. Can powerful emperors make the fox spirits work easier? Yes. But if an emperor is righteous and virtuous, the spirits can't even enter the palace. If they constantly harbor evil thoughts and have too much greed, then ghosts, fox spirits, and demons could get to them easily. When King Zhou of Shang was under the spell of his concubine, Daji, the other spirits wanted to take their chances too, right? Otherwise, they couldn't enter the imperial city. That's how much harm a fox spirit could cause. And their victims can be anyone. What do we call this? Honey trapping? Do you find this good? In Journey to the West, demons disguised as beautiful women or filial children is a common practice. But Ryukang saw through them and made sure they didn't get near Sanzang. Demons and people with strong, positive, and righteous energy don't see eye to eye. High-level demons are powerful and not easy to kill, just like the white bone demon. Ryukang had a hard time against it. And then there was the spider demon too. The evil ways of these spirits are quite formidable. There's a saying, when the Tao grows a foot, the devil grows a yard. In terms of magical powers, demons can be stronger than the good guys. They don't practice the ways of righteousness. But that doesn't mean they're weak. They can be powerful too. Never forget that. So, how do we keep our heads clear to avoid being charmed by their bewitching allure? It's not easy. If you meet someone just a few times, and you already feel they have a strong attraction to you, and you're thinking about them all the time, then you should be very careful. You might have fallen under an enchanting spell. That's not a possession. There are spells that help you gain love and friends. Yes, have you heard of them? How? For example, casting a spell on a pumpkin and placing this pumpkin where a guy often passes by, or a place that the boy can't miss. It's like a car sensor. Many parking lots have sensors installed. They beep when cars enter or exit the parking lot. So, if the boy passes by the pumpkin, then he'd be under the spell. But one day, he didn't come, a sow did instead. And then, that sow would keep following the spellcaster around. It sounds like a joke, but we'd rather believe it's true. Many of these folk spells are quite powerful. With spells, a lousy person with poor character can find love too. Yes, the person under the spell would even build a family with the spellcaster. When you ask them why, they just answer, I don't know. The person under a spell would find the spellcaster adorable. That's how it is. It's a love spell. The charm of a fox spirit is even more powerful than a love spell. When you meet the men or women possessed by fox spirits, after looking into their eyes, you can't take your eyes off them. How can we avoid this? This is what you'll do. So, first of all, don't look into their eyes. Do not engage in eye contact with them. They capture souls through eye contact. All you see is them when you close your eyes. That's how soul-capturing spells worked in ancient times. How does hypnosis work? Through your focused gaze, a hypnotist gives commands. For example, 1, 2, 3, sleep. Then, you'll sleep either standing up or on the floor. You need to understand how powerful it can be. The spirit's love spells are even more powerful than hypnosis. Before, I saw a cat staring at a little bird on a tree. After a while, the bird just fell off the tree. It fell down as if it were injured. It looked dizzy. It's a bit like being hypnotized by a very skilled hypnotist. The bird's soul was captured in an instant. If a cat can do this, imagine a fox or snake spirit. Yes, spirits' love spells are no joke. So, again, no eye contact. Secondly, avoid physical contact. This is harder than avoiding eye contact. One way for a possessed lady to seduce a man is by touching him. After that, the man would be sucked dry. Through handing you a book, a pen, a phone, or a coffee cup. The lady touches your hands intentionally. When her hand touches yours, you're put under a spell. This is the most troublesome part. This is too easy for a seductress. Just a touch on your skin, and you will fall in love with her. And then what? A man who puts ladies under love spells is not a husband candidate. This kind of man is the worst in terms of character. And also a hypocrite. Ladies, if you really ended up marrying such a guy, you'd truly start to suffer. You've been fooled. Some guys don't want to marry you. They just want to fool around for 2 to 3 years. To them, it's a game. Well, it's still better than having your life energy sucked dry. Like I said, Women can become victims of spirits too, but men being sucked dry is more common. It's like drinking juice. There are male and female juices. If male juice gives you more energy, then why would you even bother drinking female juice? That's the idea, understood? So, no eye or physical contact. What else? No evil thoughts. When you're consumed by greed and desires, demons will find you. They come to you. There's no avoiding them. All kinds of demons, not just beautiful women, okay? They're attracted by your greed. So, pay attention to your thoughts. There are ways to ward off evil. You can go to a meditation center, temple, or monastery and get accessories that protect against evil. It could be blessed prayer beads, amulets, or necklaces made of various materials, including glass, gemstones, even better. So, necklaces, rings, hairpins, and even jade worn on the belt by the ancients. Gold also possesses the power to ward off evil. We've come up with our own 8 treasure spiritual beads. These are made using materials with protective effects. Wear them and they'll keep you safe against evil. Say, if you and your friend engaged in eye contact with a fox spirit, you will remain clear-headed, but your friend will be under its spell. This is what the spiritual beads can do. Of course, if you have the chance, try to get empowered by a powerful meditation master. This also keeps you safe against evil and seduction. As for Xiaolin, she consulted me, and I helped her send away the fox spirit. First, I settled her down and then sent the spirit away. Then, she regained her consciousness and rationality. Since then, she's never been troubled as such anymore. She's still quite intelligent and wise. Her relationships and marriage will be fine, I think. Now, what should you do? If your ancestors worshipped spirits before, and you don't feel like continuing to worship anymore, what should you do? Usually, in your hometown, where your ancestors worshipped a spirit before, there would be a temple dedicated to this particular spirit. Find the person in charge, make a small donation, and tell them your problem. You have your reasons for not wanting to continue the practice, right? Maybe you're busy, or maybe you have a new religion, etc. Make a small donation, and ask the person in charge to send the spirit away. After the spirit is sent away, it'll leave you forever. Don't destroy the tablet or altar of the spirit. It might anger the spirit your ancestors once worshipped. That's also called inviting a big disaster. So, get the specialist to help you. Today, I'm just sharing with you some knowledge. It's to enlighten you a bit so you may live a better life in the future.
让我与您相遇，小小的红点里，人生就此欢喜。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。 在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇。小小的红点里，人生变得神奇。我智慧了，我宽容了，我慈悲了，我自在了。因为有了你，生命变得更坚定，不忧忧无虑。因为有了你，日子不再有哭泣，不再有恐惧。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇。小小的红点里，人生就此欢喜。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇。小小的红点里，人生变得神奇。我智慧了，我宽容了，我慈悲了，我自在了。因为有了你，了解生命的真理，修行的理义。因为有了你，日子犹如彩虹般美丽。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。我快乐了，我美丽了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与您相遇。小小的红点里，人生就此欢喜。我快乐了，我健康了，我幸福了，我美丽了。在茫茫人海之中，让我与你相遇。小小的红点里，人生变得神奇。